in the past 10 years, the idea of epicness has really sort of immersed itself in the kids' culture with movies like The Hunger Games and stuff like that. And Shakespeare's big, Shakespeare's epic.
I've always thought the problem with reading Shakespeare is that you're supposed to perform it. It's meant to be moved around the stage and big action.
Hey, King Lear, there's a storm, there's eyes being gouged out. Julius Caesar, there's a murder in the Forum.
And Shakespeare gives you such big language, you just have to be big with everything.
Shakespeare's the writer for Western civilization, and we, as a city, need that.
Most people want to have the power of language to improve their ability to get their message across. And I think that we can do that through the language that Shakespeare helps us to understand.
Being able to have that giant source of stories and beautiful language that Shakespeare gives us is fantastic.
It feels like I am able to express myself more articulately by understanding the history of the words.
It makes you able to care about the world more. It makes you understand how to care about the world more.
It's so important for us to interact with the story, and I don't think there's a better way to interact with a story than theater.
We don't just do Shakespeare. We do other classical authors. We actually had a world premiere, and there aren't many world premieres at Shakespeare companies throughout the country. That was a really wonderful moment for us because we got national and even international press.
Well, the last 3 years has been seen a lot of success, and that's great. I guess the one thing we learned is how much more there is out there.
St. Andrews has always performed Shakespeare at our festival. We didn't have one guy that would ever volunteer to play Romeo. And after seeing Anne Ciccalella's actors, celebrities to my students, perform at the Curtin Theater, we had competition for the role of Romeo doing the balcony scene, including kisses.
And this one time, there were these kids that just kind of sat down. There were two Hispanic kids. They were just transfixed. They were bilingual, there was some Spanish and mixed in with English, and these kids were just kind of glued, like they were watching TV, but they were watching this show, and it was real life, and what I was seeing in their eyes, how they were just so mesmerized on what was happening on stage, and I just feel that there was a connection that was there.
What I think it means to a young child is that the world of the imagination does not have to stop. Because young children are very imaginative. I mean, as we know, they're putting on bath towels and flying through the backyard.
As a parent, you have dreams for your kids, and they don't always measure up with what's going on in reality. But sometimes reality is even better than the dream.
I looked at my son, and he was a different human being. He had taken on fully this character, and it was an accomplishment I'd never even imagined that he dreamed of. And there he was, completely 100% in this role. Something that other people did was now something that he was part of. That world became real to him. And I think in that moment, I realized, and I saw him realizing, that everything's possible now. If I can do this, everything's possible.
The sets and costumes are great. The actors are amazing. The way that Austin Shakespeare conceives the plays and sometimes resets them in interesting surroundings is fascinating. It reinvigorates the performances, the plays, and makes it a great experience.
Zilker Park I think has become even better production over the 7, 8 years we've been here.
And I think Shakespeare at the Park, the free Shakespeare at the Park, is just phenomenal.
I had more of my students who were girls come and see the female lead in Hamlet and come back just amazed they said, "Oh, we've never seen Shakespeare done with a female Hamlet."
Plays that I've seen at Austin Shakespeare have been hilarious and touching and dramatic and all kinds of things, and all very relatable.
The entire culture that I think Austin Shakespeare has created with their audience is one of the most valuable aspects of the organization. They treat their audience like family.
We want everyone to be part of Austin Shakespeare.
This is not a task for the faint of heart. Mounting a Shakespeare production that's well done requires precision, expertise, thought, intention, great direction, wonderful performers, great tech staff, amazing costumers, point of view, and that only hits a few of the highlights. And so these require, beyond anything else, the exquisite talent we have at Austin Shakespeare, they have to have the tools to work.
Musicians love playing here because our audience is so darn appreciative of the craftsmanship and the soulfulness. And I think that audience exists here for Shakespeare, and not just for Shakespeare, but for Austin Shakespeare.
Why can't we be like the live music capital, be like the live Shakespeare capital?
If Austin Shakespeare had more funding, it would kind of blow your mind.
This is the time where we contribute to, nurture, and take care of the things we genuinely value. I would trust, hope, and believe that one of those is the continuance of a very vibrant Shakespeare festival in Austin, or Shakespeare experience in Austin.